State Senator Duane Ankney out of Colstrip, Montana. Of course, been a passionate defender of Colstrip and the coal-fired power plant there. Senator Ankney, thanks for joining us this morning. I think the rest of us were as outraged as you were at this decision, but you're seeing it and feeling it closer to home there. What's the reaction in Colstrip?
It's not good, but let's just say it's not unexpected. It wasn't a big surprise. It was a hell of a big disappointment, and that they were going to shut it down early, but it certainly wasn't a surprise. I'd got a call yesterday morning early. Of course, we're a lot of time zones away, but it was early in Idaho from Danes' office, and we was talking about another issue. But before we got done, I was talking about 1 and 2, and they said, "What's your prediction?" I said, "No later than January 1 of this year." I mean, that's been the talk, that they're bleeding several $1 million a year trying to operate that, higher costs on fuel and stuff, and coal going in there. It's higher than the contract for 3 and 4, and they just said they couldn't sustain that. Nobody had told me they was going to shut down early, but I just from what I'd heard, I mean, it wasn't a surprise. It was just a disappointment, and made me mad. Yeah.
Well, and I said, I don't know if you agree with this, but basically they've shot the goose that lays the golden eggs. Where the Colstrip 1 and 2 bring a lot of money into the state of Montana. I mean, the reliable power aside for a second, the revenue that comes into Montana thanks to Colstrip is just incredible. And so, okay, where are you going to get this money from now?
There is no place except raise taxes or cut programs, and they're not going to raise taxes. I mean, You're not going in the makeup of the legislature right now. You're not going to raise taxes. I mean, property taxes or income taxes. I don't see that revenue raising. I see programs that we have funded just as a matter of, they're not going to be funded. We don't have any place else to go get revenue from. I mean, and I've been preaching this since the 80s, that we better support those things that support you. And it would, this allowing the Sierra Club and the MEIC in the first place, I don't want to go backwards because that don't do any good. But the fact is, in 2016, we should have never allowed them to shut those plants down to get that court document. But there was only a handful of us that was jumping up and down, pulling our hair out, trying to get some, try to get involved in that. And nobody seemed to really care. They just assumed that would go on forever. Well, it won't. It's got to have public support. 3 and 4, we still got 3 and 4. If we don't support them, if the public don't fully support them, you don't think that the Sierra Club and the MEIC ain't got them in the sights? Well, they do.
Oh, they're already saying. I'm seeing two things out of the Radical Environmental Group, the Montana Environmental Information Center, which I think you correctly noted in your statement sent out in response to this news, is that they're funded by out-of-state and foreign billionaires, so they could care less about Montana. But they're already saying, oh, well, with the closure of 1 and 2, it makes 3 and 4 less economical, so those are going to have to go too. And then they're also saying, well, we need to start developing energy resources that the rest of the world wants to buy. Well, the rest of the world does want to buy our coal. It's just
exactly
they sue to block the ports from being built to allow us to sell it. So they're outright lying about that.
And there is a huge market in the Pacific Rim for our coal. It's kind of funny because I'm over here farther into the Northwest. Every radio station's talking about it. Vista is applying for a rate increase. Everybody that's involved, all the owners in that plant that's involved, are setting up for rate increases, because with the loss of that 700 megawatts, that's going to jack this market up over here, and power is going to be is going to cost people a lot more money.
Yeah,
and as far as this coal contract, I really don't want to get in. I don't want to really take sides on that, because I'm not sitting at the table. I've offered to go sit at the table, but up to this point, they've declined to invite me.
So basically,
and that's fine. I
for
probably don't want to sit at the table, but so I can't really comment on, because if you talk to one side, they say, "Well, we got a hell of a deal." You talk to the other side, they say, "Ben, they want to raise the price." So, I'm pretty neutral, or not neutral. I'm never neutral, but I don't have enough facts on where them contract negotiations are to really comment on them with any, clarity or accuracy.
And to fill in, folks, what those what you're referring to there is Westmoreland owns the coal mine, which provides the coal for the Talon-owned Colstrip 1 and 2 power plant, and there's been a back and forth about the price of that coal, and that's apparently what at least Talon is saying. Well, they're closing down early because of the price of that coal that Westmoreland, and so. But here's the deal: if Westmoreland isn't providing the coal to Colstrip 1 and 2, they can't really ship that coal out. It's a little more of a stranded asset than other coal mines in Montana, right? Which can get their coal to the foreign markets a little bit easier, right?
Right. If Westmoreland say they did not supply coal to the plants, they can export coal for, oh Christ, from the early 70s early 70s until, Aaron, I want to say around 2000. We shipped into the upper Midwest. We did Minnesota Power and Light and several upper Midwestern utilities. So that's a possibility, but those markets are not there like they were in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And
so at this point, do you
go
think
back to the power plants? I mean, they're in a hoo-ha right now over whether they have the right to get coal from another, coal company,
supplier,
whether it be another Montana coal company or whether it be a Wyoming coal company, which would be a travesty to have coal exported when 5 miles away there's a coal mine. I mean, Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys get your big boy pants on and sit down and hammer this damn deal out,
Yeah. So at this point, do you still feel there is something that can be done to save Colstrip 1 and 2, or do all the efforts need to be focused on saving 3 and 4?
I really don't. I mean, I've worked with some people that briefly was working with a group of lawyers out of Washington, D.C., when they contacted me, we can get that vacated, and they got into it, and they go, this is pretty much locked up. This is going to happen.
So all the focus now needs to be on saving 3 and 4, then, from your perspective?
And from my perspective, Aaron, there's got to be, the focus has to be on 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 could play a part in it play a big part in some research and development, like with carbon sequestration, with the manufacturing of formic acid, or it can still play a part. It just can't generate electricity.
But that's interesting. But because we've heard ideas, you could keep 1 and 2 in operation through research. Maybe Montana Tech somehow becomes a part, or maybe there's a federal project regarding carbon capture sequestration and all of that, and you could leverage that facility and that institution from a research and an R&D standpoint, while also, right?
I don't want to say, for certain that that's what we could do, but it looks like to me, it looks like that's what we could do, as long as you're not generating out of that facility. I mean, it's pretty specific on the boiler when you read that consent decree, what you can and can't do. But I think it could be used as a research facility, and there's literally hundreds of millions of dollars at the DOE right now, and every one of those individuals at the DOE absolutely know where Colstrip is, and they're wanting to help Colstrip with carbon sequestration, but you got to get some owners in there that's willing to participate. You got these West Coast owners, and they just want to crawl out of there.
Senator Ankney, again, thanks for taking some time with us. What's your message? You know, I know we got folks in Colstrip listening right now, but also folks across the state who know how important that coal mine and that power plant is to our state economically.
Well,
what's your message to them and what they should be saying to other policymakers?
I think the message, Aaron, is, you know, like last time I ran that 278 bill to get more of an ownership with Northwestern and Unit 4 that would have placed that in Montana's hands. Come on, read the damn bill. That wasn't going to raise your rates. It was going to lower them. And don't believe what these radical environmental groups, the trash they put out there. I mean, they're not there to help you out, believe me. I always ask people a question. Have you ever seen a Little League uniform with the Sierra Club sponsor on it or the MEIC logo on it? Hell no. They're not there to help your community out. They're there to destroy Montana economy.
Yeah, they don't even want us here. They want this to be the playground of the rich. They want this to be the American Serengeti. You know.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. And the other thing, the last thing I'll say is to those people in Colstrip, is they're first and foremost on my mind.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, you were a former coal miner yourself, so you've not only lived there and all that. I mean, you've worked it.
Yeah,
so,
I'm just like the rest of them. I got a house in Colstrip that you can't sell. So
yeah,
I'm in it up to my neck with you.
Yeah.
I'll do what I can to help us out, and I know in D.C. they're there. All we got to do is. We're so close to getting something done through this administration. That could help us.
Looks like we're still waiting on that phone call from our next guest. So if I can hold you for a couple more minutes here, I'd be interested in your take on this too. To me, the other thing that's outrageous to me is the fact is, okay, the same day that this news comes out, that Colstrip 1 and 2 closed early, our own governor is in Iowa talking about climate change, and now he's raising money in Chicago. It's like, could you not be more tone deaf? I mean, talk about the message that sends to the labor union members out there. That I just can't believe that.
Well, and that's you talk about labor unions with the present administration, the Trump administration. It's a love-hate relationship. They love the fact that we're getting a lot of jobs created and stuff like that, and then other policies they oppose. But I mean, it would help to have. And the governor's office contacted me yesterday morning, not the governor, but the office, and it seems like they're getting pretty concerned about 3 and 4.
Yeah, and well, maybe he'll mention it while he's fundraising back in Chicago today, but I highly doubt it. He'll probably be on the climate change stick instead. Duane Ankney, Senator Duane Ankney, always a pleasure.